Alright, starting another one because the video before just sort of rambled into nothing, and I feel like if I posted that, I'd get a lot of criticism, so we're not posting that. No one's gonna know what it is. Right. So, what do I want to talk about? Do people understand what the gym is there for? I don't think they do. I feel like generally, unless you're experienced, people don't really understand how to properly make progress. And I know that sounds weird, but hear me out, right? You build muscle, you build strength, you build endurance as an adaptation to a stimulus, right? And something I feel like not many people understand is the gym is that stimulus, right? A stimulus for which your body adapts to. And once your body adapted to it, you would either get stronger or bigger. One or the two when it comes to, I think, just general resistance training. There is also endurance, like adaptations, but those can be more optimized with other forms of training. Resistance training most of the time, what most people do, they use resistance training for either strength or muscle. Simple as that. Yet there's so many people that remain stagnant after like their first 6 to 12 months of training, where they think, well, not even they think, what I see, what I notice, especially like anecdotally with very inexperienced people in the gym, and even myself sometimes, I do a 3 by 12 with 15 kilos, and then I keep doing a 3 by 12 with 15 kilos for 3 months on a bicep curl. And it's like, I'm not forcing my. That's the point. You have to force your body to adapt to new stimulus. And I feel like people tend to forget that, or just not even know it at all. Muscle doesn't come from doing a 3 by 12 like indefinitely with the same weight, because eventually your muscles are going to adapt, your body is going to adapt, and then what happens after you adapt? Your body doesn't need any new muscle, your body doesn't need any new strength. That's where like diminishing returns comes in, because for a while it could work, right? Doing that 3 by 12 could work. But once your body adapts to it fully, every time you recover, you make the most progress after the first recovery, and then you make a bit more after next time, a little bit less. You're still making progress, less, 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 and it's just this line that goes like this, and then it sort of just stops up here. Not well, not stops, but it's just like you're not gonna make any new progress unless you change something. And this should be the fundamental. These should be the fundamentals of like progression: stimulus, adaptation, recovery, repeat. But when I look in the gym, especially commercial gyms, I don't I don't really I don't really notice. I don't really notice people training to progress. And like, if that's your goal, to just have fun in the gym, you don't care about progression, you just care about like in and out for the like mental clarity, just for the fun of it. Oh, you man, oh, you girl, right? Go ahead. Like, I respect that, right? You know what you want, and you're acting in a way that corresponds to what you want. I respect that, right? But the people who want to build more muscle or build more strength, going into the gym without having a plan on like how they're gonna progress, it's just like if you don't know what you want to do to progress, you're gonna stay stagnant. Just doing a 3 by 12, for example, or like constantly switching programs, you're not giving your body the time or the stimulus to adapt. We'll speak about time first. If you're always program swapping, you do like 3 weeks of a program, you're not gonna build much muscle. You're not gonna really build any strength. All the strength you'd really be building in that time would be neurological. And if it's neurological adaptations, those tend to not last too long. So it's just like you're wasting time by not putting in the time, right? If you want to make genuine progress, you have to keep progressing your programs. You have to keep progressing your exercises and doing the same exercises for a prolonged period of time. People want things quick, so they don't stick to a program. Most programs are gonna work for you if you just stick to it, especially as a beginner to intermediate and maybe advanced, depending on your genetics, right? For an elite lifter or world-class lifter, okay, traditional programs are probably not going to work for you. But at that point, you don't need traditional programs. I guess that, well, you always got to stick to the basics, of course, but for most people, 99.99% of people, that's who I'm talking about. That 0.01%, I can't speak about that at all. I don't study like advanced training methods or advanced programming like that. I only really study simple progression or like a double progression. That's sort of what I do right now. The gym should be, most sessions should look the same if you're a beginner. Just like adding a little bit of weight or adding like some reps each time because you gotta force the adaptation. Anyways, that was time. People want stuff. People want stuff quick. They don't want to stick to a program. And if you don't stick to a program, you're not gonna make any gains. You're gonna stay stagnant. What was my other point? It was time and yeah, yeah, doesn't matter. I'm getting tired anyways. My brain is getting. I'm getting like hot right now. I don't know if the shoulder vein and the bicep vein is showing. I'm getting hot right now because when I talk, when my brain thinks, when I think, I I get hot, right? That wasn't to make fun of. That wasn't to make fun of anyone. That was just for a joke. Like how the Trent twins do it. They do like this face, like yeah, 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 yeah. Like it was something like that. It was just a joke. I got YouTube up on the screen there. Maybe I can talk about what I see there. I see Anabolic Groceries Trips plus Arm Day, Mike Israel, Jujutsu Kaisen, Zombie Apocalypse, Diabetes in a Cup. Okay, calories in, calories out. Hmm. Losing weight is hard. People think like the water weight they lose in the first week, that those like 10 pounds of water weight they lose actually means something. A kilo of fat is 7,000 calories, I believe, something like that. If you're in a 500 calorie deficit, you're gonna be hungry, and it's gonna take you 14 days to lose 1 kilogram of fat in a 500 calorie deficit, not including any potential cardio you might be doing, or not including the calories you burn throughout the day, purely on a calories in, calories out ingestion type, right? Purely based on that, 14 days to lose 1 kilo of fat. This is something I can criticize now. These stupid 30-day programs to get you toned and shredded, bro. No. No. The most progress I made in 1 month was adding 10 kilos to my bench press using Smolov Jr. 4 workouts a week of heavy chest. Added 10 kilos in 1 month. Most of those adaptations were neurological. There was probably not a lot, and also I was on the bulk, right? To bench 135. Progression is slow. People underestimate, or people overestimate what they can achieve. Adding 15 kilos to your lifts in 1 year, in my opinion, is insane progress. I had insane newbie gains, and I could bench 100 kilos at 15. I'm 19 now, and I'm at 135 kilos for my bench press. It was more like 3 years, because I was just about to turn 16 and I just turned 19. So it's more like 3 years since then. 3.5, we'll say 3.5 years. In 3.5 years, and keep in mind, I benched 135 like 6-8 months ago. So we're gonna put that difference as 2 years, 2.5 years. 2.5 years, I went from 100 to 135. You sort of understand how slow progress actually is. So when people rush themselves to achieve a goal, they're not going to achieve it. It's so unlikely that they achieve it. Now let's speak about teenagers. Oh, this is interesting. Teenagers and the steroid epidemic. People are so impatient. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the hours. They want to be a bodybuilder, but they don't want to lift no heavy ass weight. They don't want to put in the time. They don't want to put in the hours. They don't want to put in the struggle, because it is like physically strenuous to push yourself with the intensity you need to grow. And for most people, they find it uncomfortable. Me personally, I like it. I think it's fun. Pushing myself all the way to failure. And then, like, next week, doing the exact same thing, but only a little bit heavier, or like for one more rep. I like that. It's fun. But most people, well, not most people, but I feel like people don't really know what true intensity is, and they just go with the flow and train to like mild discomfort. Your body, let's say bicep curls, for example, you can still make progress training to mild discomfort, but it's just like you could be making so much more progress if you actually trained with 100% intensity. Now that doesn't mean having an RPE of 10 for every set, right? It just means that for whatever you do, you're locked in and you train to whatever the program or whatever you set for yourself. If you want to bench 100 kilos for 8, you better make it some like beautiful 8 reps, and you better start at least struggling on that 8th rep. Be like, right, you must be pushing yourself hard, because if you don't, you're not gonna make the progress you want. And intensity is definitely the number one factor. Intensity and reps. Like, what was his name? Mike someone. Not Israel. I'm thinking Israel because he's on my screen, but Mike Mensa preached the 1 set all the way to failure. It's not bad, but I do personally believe that 1 or 2 more sets per exercise would probably work better. I'm more of a firm believer in like the 2 to 3 set range, like pushing yourself hard, right? If you're doing, I saw a program the other day. It was a 5x10 for bench press, and then it was 18 more sets of just like chest isolation exercises. If you can recover from it, sure, but you're not going to recover from it. I don't know. What was I going to talk about? What did I want to talk about? Right. All right, steroid epidemic. People are lazy. They want stuff quick, and they take steroids. It's not good, but they still do it. And also like this entire social media thing of like comparison. No 2 people are going to look the exact same. No 2 people are going to have the same amount of muscle. There's going to be people with more muscle than you and people with less muscle than you. Unless you're like some like Mr. Olympian Ronnie Coleman, then no one is going to have more muscle than you. But either way, comparing yourself to others that you scroll is just like, why? You should be comparing yourself to who you used to be and how you used to look. If when you put those 2 side by side, you can see the progress you've made, and you can just be happy that like you're filling out what you have. You're making progress with what you have. It doesn't matter about anyone else's progress, because your journey is not theirs, and neither theirs for you. Their progress is not yours, and neither is yours for them. If you want to be the best, or if you want to excel, or if you just no. If you want to use it as motivation, good. But when you start letting it negatively impacting your self-esteem and your like self-perception, there's an issue there. There's a big issue there. So, what was the quote? Comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah. If you compare, because these guys, the people you see online, they're probably on steroids. They've probably been training much longer than you have. They probably know what they're doing. They've stuck to a program. They've been eating right, sleeping right, doing everything right to get like that perfect physique, right? Now, perfect doesn't exist, but we're just using that as like a fill-in word right now. I love water. But yeah, you're just gonna fuck up your mental state if you compare yourself to others. And then you're gonna not have a good motivation to go to the gym. I think the best motivation to go gym is just the love of it. The love of just lifting weights and seeing progress. I think that's one of the best things about the gym. Because, like in life, progress is not very apparent, and sometimes it feels like you're stuck. But in the gym, progress is pretty apparent comparatively to everything else. Comparing to everything else in life, progression in the gym is straightforward and noticeable, right? And you have much more of a sense that it's in your control. Sorry. It's in your control. So be happy with the progress you're making and expect good things from yourself. Just don't expect so much in such a short period of time. Most gym journeys, like, they reach their strongest 15, 20 years after starting, when they've become like an advanced, knowledgeable lifter, and they put in the years, right? That's usually when they make the most progress. So if you're 18 years old and you're sad you can't bench 315, you have so much more time, right? And I'm speaking to myself with this as well, because I definitely wanted to rush to make progress, and then I hurt my knee and I hurt my back, right? When I was a newbie lifter, I had the right mindset where it was like, I didn't push myself beyond my limits. I didn't like have that expectation that I'm gonna put 100 kilos onto my squat and deadlift. I didn't have that like unrealistic expectation. I kept things very realistic, and I took small grabs at my goals and I achieved them bit by bit, right? It's like a Lego piece. You're not gonna. I like that. I like that analogy actually. When you're building a Lego structure, you have to put it piece by piece. You can't just expect everything to be done like this, like in a snap. You have to, your fingers are gonna get tired. You have to read the instructions. You have to be so meticulous with it. But it makes the achievement of finishing it all the more worthwhile, right? So don't rush yourself into wanting to achieve goals, because that rush comes from what I perceive as an insecurity in yourself, and you thinking to yourself, when I get this, I'm gonna be happier, or some other type of motivation like that. But either way, I think you should just be more present and more appreciative of your current. This side is lower than the other. It looks funny. Anyways, I can't see it now. What the hell? I'm like missing part of my goatee here. It's probably just the lighting and shadows. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap things up soon, but don't place unrealistic. To conclude, I'm looking at you, camera. Do not place unrealistic expectations on yourself, right? You're only gonna make yourself sad when you don't achieve them. Now that's not saying that it's a bad thing to put high expectations on yourself. I think as an overarching goal, you can definitely do it. But there needs to be many more manageable, smaller goals in the meanwhile. So that you still feel like you have this sense of progress and it's like self-validation that you're doing all right. You're doing just fine. You're exactly where you need to be. I'm gonna wrap things up there. Bye.